The Premier League relegation battle this season is one of the closest we've ever seen. So I'm going to do the impossible task of predicting how it's all going to unfold by predicting literally every single game for the rest of the season, not being biased in the slightest towards one of the clubs on the list. If we look between 12th and 20th in the Premier League, there is just 5 points between them. We haven't got a Norwich this year just to be absolutely turned over every week. They're already cut adrift. It is incredible how tight it is. Southampton could quite easily get to 12th if they were to win like 2 in a row. Bear in mind, obviously, results would have to go their way, but based off maths, you know, they could. But that's unbelievable how close it is. By the way, I'd really like to get to 5,000 subscribers, so please hit the like button and subscribe to Rads if you're new. It's greatly appreciated. It takes a millisecond. Right, so I'm going to go back and do the rescheduled games first. I will pinpoint some of the relegation rivals to Forest, but I'm mainly going to be going over our games and then filling in the rest just as we go along. Okay, so we've got Leeds versus Nottingham Forest. Obviously not our next game, but this is when it would have been. It would have been on match week 7, of course. So I think this, for me, is the only away game we have left where I think we could get anything from it. We are that horrific on the road. I'm not going to purposely be negative or purposely be too optimistic. I'm just going to try and be as balanced as possible with all these predictions. We are dreadful on the road, okay? It doesn't really matter who we play. We can make anyone look great. But I do think Leeds, that could be one of the worst quality games of football you ever see this season. Look at the stats. They're 19th. They've scored 31, which isn't the least in the league at all, actually. There's quite a few teams that have scored less, but they haven't scored a load. Yeah, it's not like they're Leicester, who actually scored 37 goals, but they're conceding loads of goals. Leeds are doing that. They're conceding 42, but they're not exactly scoring many either. So I'm going to go 1-1 there. Alright, so that's the rescheduled games done. Let's get on with the remaining fixtures in order. So obviously Newcastle is next for Forest. I'm not someone that deliberately is negative, as I said, but for me, if Forest lose this game, then I'm really starting to get concerned, because we've been like hovering in 13th and 14th for quite a while now, despite the fact that we've only won 1 in our last 9 games, I believe. So the fact that we've been hovering in like 13th and 14th just shows how good we had managed to get ourselves, or what a great position we got ourselves into. But if we don't beat Newcastle, there'll be 1 win in 10. That's when you start to worry, and especially when you realise how horrific our away form is. If we can't even win home games, then after drawing with Everton and not beating Newcastle here, it does get quite concerning, and we do have overall a very difficult run-in. Not that it is a surprise, it's the Premier League, but it's particularly tough. I think we can get something from Newcastle. I think a draw would be fantastic against Newcastle. We need to win. Okay, we need to pull ourselves away from that bottom 3 as much as possible. Wolves v Leeds, I'm going to go for 1-0 to Wolves there. Okay, so updating the Premier League table after technically 2 match weeks, because of course of the rescheduled Leeds game. We're actually now 13th. West Ham, Bournemouth and Southampton in the relegation zone. On to game week 29, Wolves at home. This is a huge opportunity. Wolves in 12th. We're in 13th. I think this is a winnable game. Wolves are a good side. We gave them a good go in the Cup. Obviously, we did end up winning only on penalties, and we narrowly lost at Molineux when we were not as good as what we are now, technically. So I am going to go for another 1-0 there for Forest. Palace v Leicester. I'm going to go 2-1 Palace there. I could see Leicester losing that one. Leeds probably lose to Arsenal there. Any other big matchups? Of course, we've got West Ham v Southampton. That's actually quite a big game, isn't it? I'm going to go for 1-0 to West Ham. Okay, so actually up to 12th now after that match week. This sounds like I'm being biased, but it's going to get harder. There's harder games to come, as we're going to see, I think, on this match week. No, not this match week, but there is definitely harder games to come. But I don't think we're going to win there either, because Villa are actually doing pretty well this year in 11th place, and it's an away game. So it's a certain defeat, really. Leicester v Bournemouth. Leicester need to be winning that. They've got to be winning that. Leeds v Crystal Palace. I can see Leeds nicking that one. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Manchester United at home, game week 31. Let's be real, that's going to be a defeat there. They're the only team to beat us in 2023 at home, so I think that's fair to say that. I think Everton could get a result there, you know. Fulham are kind of dropping off a little bit. They've lost 2 in a row currently. Liverpool at Anfield. Yeah, don't see that being a win. Liverpool aren't quite what they were, but they're not going to beat them at Anfield in my opinion. Leicester v Wolves. I'm going to go for actually a draw there. Right, after that, we're down to 14th in the Premier League. Leeds, Bournemouth, and Southampton in the bottom 3. West Ham just above it. Everton, 16th. Leicester, 15th. Look at the gap now between 12th and 11th. It is literally another league. Game 33. Oh dear, Brighton. That's tough. That's very, very tough. I don't know. Could we get a draw out of Brighton? I just don't think we drew with them at the Amex, didn't we? I just think Brighton are too good. I think Brighton are a really good team. This is the thing, it's so difficult to predict all this. Like, there's no way of knowing. I think Southampton will get a win there. Leeds v Leicester. Oh, I don't know, that's tough, that is. Let's go for a draw again. 5 games left, we've got Brentford away. Don't see that being a win. It's just an automatic buy, isn't it? If you're playing Forest at home. I don't know what to think about that. I could see Bournemouth doing that, getting a win there. This is the thing, right? You've got to base this all off form at the time. I'm having to base it off like 10 games time. So anything could happen between now and then. So it's just based off like form now, which doesn't always apply. Leicester v Everton. I think that could be 2-1 Leicester. Calculate, we're down to 15th now. Leicester up to 13th. Bournemouth, oh God, man, Leeds are gone even lower, haven't they? Southampton at home, for me, is one of the biggest games left we have. Like, every game's gigantic, but that is a game we absolutely have to be winning. So, I'm going to go 2-0 Forest there. Actually going to win by more than a goal. Calculate, Liverpool now into the top 4, but that's not actually important. Forest up to 13th. It's still really tight though. It's still so tight at the bottom end of the table. Bournemouth, Leeds, and Southampton in the bottom 3. 3 games left. We've got Chelsea away. That's probably going to be a defeat. I know Chelsea aren't quite what they were, but picking up now. Actually, they've won 3 in a row in real life, so let's go with that. Everton into the relegation zone with 2 games left to play. Forest still 13th. Blimey. Okay, let's get on with the rest of the games. 2 games left. Arsenal at home. No chance of getting anything. I think 3-1 to Arsenal there. Oh, I could see Bournemouth putting off a cheeky draw there against Man United. I do. 2 big games here. West Ham v Leeds. Again, so difficult to judge it based off like how we're going to know each team's performing at this stage of the season. I'm going to go for a win there to West Ham. Wolves v Everton. Win there to Wolves. Calculate. Oh, okay. So Southampton are actually out. They're relegated, Southampton. Leeds could still survive. Oh God, this is actually fascinating. Forest is safe though, that's all that matters. Forest is safe. We've lost 19 times. Forest is safe. Palace away. They're a very uninspiring team, Crystal Palace. But we're away from home. I don't hold much hope. So we'll just go for a draw to end the season. I mean, it's better than losing away from home. It's not happened much this season, has it? Everton, Bournemouth. Ooh, this is tight. Look at that. Look at that. Everton have to win to stay in the Premier League against Bournemouth. Oh, a draw wouldn't even be enough, would it? I think Everton would get that done, you know. I really do. Southampton, don't see them getting a result there. Going out of the Premier League after like 9 years in it. In a very disappointing manner. Spurs would probably win that one. Oh, Leeds are going to get relegated. I didn't think that would actually happen. And Leicester. Oh, no, I don't actually know. I think that would be a draw. The Man United probably beat Fulham there. So calculate. Oh, wow. Wow. So we finished 14th. I'll 100% take that. Everton survive on the last day. Southampton do ultimately get relegated. The most convincingly. But Leeds and Bournemouth are the ones that go down. I just can't see West Ham going down, but based off like what they're doing, they probably could do. Everton seems to have turned a corner under Dyche. I think Leicester will just have enough. I think we will just have enough. Wolves really should finish more convincingly than 4 points above relegation, and Palace ultimately were pretty comfortable. So, yeah, I think that's about fair. I mean, looking at the top end as well, that's probably about realistic as well. I mean, 95 points for Arsenal, maybe that's a bit much. I don't know, but it's difficult. It's really difficult when you do it manually to try and like make it realistic, because you don't know how the teams are going to be performing later down the line. You know, are Arsenal still going to be as insane? Probably yes. But like when we play Palace, like how will you perform? It might determine how we might feel going into the game. It's difficult. Chelsea 8th, Brentford and Fulham do miss out in Europe, but Brighton get Europe. Newcastle just miss out on the Champions League, but it's still an amazing finish for them. Spurs miss out. Pretty jammy from Liverpool getting Europe, but getting Champions League anyway. That was fascinating. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I thought it'd be a good way to work it all out instead of just going every team and speculating. I thought let's actually look at the remaining games and see if we fill them all out, how will it all come to. If you want to have a go at this, then it's worldfootball.net, this website. It's not sponsored or anything, but I just thought I'd used it because it looks good and it works well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, everyone. Please, if you have, hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new. Please get me to 5k subscribers, and yeah, we obviously have a massive game on Friday against Newcastle. It's a huge game, it really is. It could really go a long way to deciding how we're feeling for the rest of the season, in my opinion. So yeah, let's look forward to it though. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you very soon.